The anime begins with a character showcasing his strength in a bloody atmosphere, surrounded by people screaming and bodies everywhere. Then, someone places a crown on this powerful person, who declares, "I have become king." Soon, another figure appears and attempts to kill him, but he easily defeats this challenger. After that, the king looks at a mask and says, "I remembered when I was a king," then loses consciousness and imagines himself drowning in the ocean. He hears a voice telling him, "In your new life, seek the light." Next, the king finds himself in the form of a child, and his mother and father look at him with love and joy, telling him his name is Arthur. His father tells him, "I want you to call me Dad." Arthur, confused, thinks to himself, "Who are these people?" He realizes he has died and is transferred to a new world. Arthur thinks, "I was born a powerless child. It seems these two don't know me, but they are completely convinced I am their real son." He feels frustrated by his situation. His father plays with him and tells his mother that he loves him very much. Arthur lives his life like a normal child, which does not please him, but his mother takes good care of him. He feels imprisoned by his powerlessness since he is just a child with no strength. He wishes he were dreaming and would wake up, but it seems this situation is permanent, and stranger things are about to happen. Then we see Arthur's father training in magic, appearing very strong. Arthur is amazed by his father's power. During his training, his father accidentally injures himself with a stone, and his wife goes to check on him, using high-level healing magic. Arthur is very impressed by this, thinking, "There is power in this world that I know nothing about." The next day, Arthur's father trains again in the forest, strong enough to defeat many monsters. A lot of people arrive and stand in front of him. They seem to be his friends. Later, Arthur's father comes home, greeted by his wife and son. Arthur studies his situation closely, watching everything around him. When his father tries to hug him and his mother, he stops because of the blood on his hands. Here, Arthur realizes that in this world, people are allowed to carry weapons, which seems dangerous. Therefore, he wants to gain power as quickly as possible. Arthur's mother reassures her husband, who says everything is fine and he has done his work well. Although Arthur is still frustrated with his situation, he tells himself, "Even though I am a powerless child, these family moments are not bad." He remembers some things from his old life when intruders sneaked into the palace, and he defeated them in the blink of an eye. He thinks he is not used to sleeping so comfortably, as he was always on the run in his old life. Days pass quickly, and Arthur begins to crawl like any normal child. His parents encourage and watch him carefully so he doesn't hurt himself. Arthur then goes to the mirror, looks at himself and says, "After all these days, I still haven't gotten used to my current situation or this name that my parents keep calling me." His mother puts him in bed to sleep, but he isn't asleep. After she leaves, he jumps out of bed and says, "Finally, I can control my limbs and move a bit freely." Arthur carefully heads toward the library, hoping not to catch his mother's attention. He succeeds, reaches the library, and pulls out a book, starting to read. He thinks, knowledge is a double-edged sword. He begins to learn what he desires and finds out he was born on a continent called Decatin, which has 3 kingdoms. The first is the dwarven kingdom of Darv, living underground. The second is the elven kingdom of Yidro, which resides deep in the forest. And the third is Sabin, where Arthur lives. Arthur notes that this kingdom resembles his old one, but here the throne is inherited, not seized. Next, Arthur moves on to another book, pulls it out to read, and drops both volumes to the floor. He notes that this world is not as advanced as his, and that this book reflects their relatively primitive technology. He learns that this world has magic, and the power present here is mana, which is mostly hereditary. There seem to be 2 applications for summoning mana: enhancement and summoning. Enhancers use mana to boost their physical strength and provide incredible power, as well as defense and agility, while summoners can summon the mana and control it as they wish. Arthur began to think about the magic his mother used to heal his father, and he started saying, "It seems there are exceptions, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is that the key to controlling mana is the essence of mana itself. Also, most mages exploit their abilities and start using them from the beginning of puberty until late adolescence by gathering the essence in their bodies into one point, which is called the essence of mana. Mastering the control of the essence of mana allows a person to become a mage. I have some background in controlling a power similar to this from my past life, because I was able to control the key that represents the awareness of a person's inner strength and manage it before releasing it." Then he began to think and asked himself, "Will the knowledge I have from my past life serve as a weapon in this life and this world?" He started to focus and tried to control the essence of mana, and it seemed he was indeed able to do this. However, his mother interrupted him, saying, "You made me worry about you. Don't do this again." She then looked at him in surprise, thinking she discovered something, but she said to him, "It seems you excelled." Arthur replied, "How embarrassing." His mother then took him to change his diaper, and he thought to himself, "This body is still a prison. I need to gain more strength and control myself better." After 2 years, Arthur's mother was writing her daily diary and started praising her son, saying he was the most beautiful and smartest child in the world. But there was one problem. He hadn't smiled even once since he was born. Then looking out the window, she saw that Arthur was sitting with his father, practicing with a stick like a sword. His father was very impressed and said, "It seems you are talented." He called for his mother to see what Arthur was doing, but she was very angry and said, "What are you doing with my sweet boy?" He replied, "I didn't do anything, I was just showing him how to use the sword." She scolded him, saying, "How can you do this?" He just started walking. Arthur thought, "It seems I've learned how things work in this world. It looks like this entire world operates under a mother's control." Later, on their way to the city, Arthur was screaming with joy, thinking that his visit to the city had provided him with a lot of information. He said that using weapons would allow him to control some technology and power of this world. He also gained insights about some stones he saw for the first time, which didn't exist in his world, and he had amazing opportunities to see magic. His visit to this city was indeed fruitful. Later, they were on their way home, and Arthur fell asleep from exhaustion. He was thinking, "This family has taken care of all my needs. Even though this life suffocates me, it isn't entirely bad." Then he began to wonder, shouldn't family always be like this? He started remembering some bleak scenes from his past life when his parents left him at an orphanage as a baby, and he grew up there, which wasn't a good life. That's why he said, feeling the warmth of this family is nice. While Arthur was sleeping, his mother began talking to him, saying, "Do you know I love the things you do? Like sneaking off to read books and always pretending to be asleep when you're not? It seems you've inherited these traits from your father. The day will come when you decide to escape to see the outside world." The next day, Arthur watched his father using magic and thought, "I'm very lucky to have a live example from whom I can learn what I want." Arthur's father was using magic to move stones when his mother came from behind and said, "It seems we have a chance to see your father's power." Indeed, his father used a very powerful spell that left Arthur amazed, and he thought, "It seems my father is of the enhancement type." Later, Arthur's father took him to go to sleep, but he didn't want that. He wanted to read a book. His mother refused, but he looked at her with innocent eyes until she let him do what he wanted. She initially resisted, but eventually gave in to his wishes and let him read the book. During this time, Arthur said that in these 2 years, he discovered many things, but the most important was discovering his ability to produce mana cores, gathering all the essence parts in his body to concentrate in one point. Learning this was very hard, but it seems my training finally paid off. Meanwhile, Arthur's father was outside resting when suddenly a huge explosion happened in the house. Arthur's father was able to save his mother, and when he realized what happened, he was very worried about Arthur. He rushed home to check on their son and managed to find him, being shocked at what he saw. He thought, "My son hasn't even turned 3 yet, but he managed to control the essence of mana." Arthur was very happy with his progress, but suddenly some wooden beams fell and he thought he was going to die. However, his parents saved him at the last moment. Arthur thought, "I have a family that loves me, doing everything to make sure I'm safe." Arthur's mother started crying, affected by what happened, but she was also very happy that her son was all right. In this situation, Arthur began to remember some events from his old life when he used to see parents worrying and caring for their children while he was always alone. Tears also started flowing from Arthur, just like his parents, and he didn't know why this was happening, as he had never experienced these feelings in his past life. He hugged his mother and began to cry for the first time in his life, saying, "I wish someone would explain to me what's happening exactly." After these dramatic events, a dangerous monster appeared, and it seems that there are serious and exciting things about to happen.